And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Okay, so I know it's been happening, or going to be happening for a long time now, well since the weekend, well actually probably before that actually, to be perfectly honest with you, after the Ross County game, but now that it is official, Celtic are champions of Scotland. It's actually hurt me quite a little bit more, to be perfectly honest. Now you start to see the celebrations happen, the other side celebrating and going on about this new title that they've got, and the fact that they don't really celebrate it as well as us, it always pisses me off, to be perfectly honest, because a title would mean a lot more to us than it would to them. But look, listen, I am gutted, genuinely. And now it's sort of started to sink in. And we're now on this kind of conveyor belt that constantly is. And that's, looking towards next season, discussing next season as the only hope, really. Because, yes, winning the Scottish Cup against them at Hampden will go well in terms of mending it. But sometimes, in a way, it's a weird situation to be in because if we win the Scottish Cup, it'll be looked at as a cup double. We beat Celtic at Hampden. We've won 2 trophies. Technically, it's probably our most successful season if you're looking at silverware since, before sort of 2012. Genuinely, 2011, I think, was the last time we won 2 trophies in a season. And I think it could paper up the cracks for this board. And they would look at it and go, look, they're not that bad after all. They beat Celtic, who are champions. And actually, to be fair, we've probably got something here. Now look at these players, they've won a couple of trophies, they've got that winning mentality within the thing again, and I don't want our board to kind of look at it and go, it doesn't need to be ripped up, the whole thing doesn't need to be ripped up. But if we were to get pumped at Hampden, which obviously I don't want to happen, I don't want us to lose, of course I don't, it would probably get this board into motion, get them into gear, and make sure that we're actually investing and ripping up the parts within this team. As stated, I cannot believe the position that we were in going into after this international break, on where we were and what we could have done. It should be us there celebrating that title, but our team full of losers couldn't handle with the pressure, and I think the game against Dundee there once again showed the mentality of these players, and that they looked really impressed with themselves. They went 2-0 down at Ibrox and they come back to win the game 5-2, and we're like, yeah, do you know, they loved it. They really did, but it didn't mean anything to me. It genuinely didn't mean anything to me because they didn't do it when it was pressure. They knew the title was done. The time for comebacks was ages ago. The time for comebacks was against Ross County. The time for finding a goal against a Dundee team was at Dens Park. The time for finding another comeback was against Motherwell at Ibrox. The time for finding a comeback was against Celtic and keeping your composure and your mentality, but they weren't able to do that. So this team does have a mentality problem, but I'm sick of waiting for this team. This team, it's always been the same questions and same answers from them back in 2018, and now we just need to go into the summer transfer window and make sure that we rip up this and go into it and properly go for it and really get rid of the same serial losers that are within this team. And I've had time to stew on it because yesterday I made the video about Champions League football, and whilst our dream isn't alive, I cannot believe we've just handed them another 60 million quid. I know it's normally 40 million quid, but it's 50 to 60 million pounds this time around because there's 2 extra games. It's a new league format. They also have a very good chance if they finish within the top 24, which you just don't have to finish in the bottom 8. You could then play in a playoff round post-Christmas and then have a chance to get into the last 16. We've handed them all this money, again, for our kind of doing in Europe, and we're not getting any of it. This is the last time of automatic Champions League football as well. We've allowed Celtic, due to our negligence, due to our board's negligence from 2021, the summer of 2021, to allow them to get 3 titles. It's absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely unforgivable. And you might say, well, Dan, the motions are in place now. We're starting to rebuild. We're starting to look a bit different. We've got Niels Cooper in. We've got a new manager and all these kind of things. We're recruiting. We're not trying to get these journeyman championship players. But there's someone at this club that there's someone at this club that's put a contract offer on the table for John Lundstram. There was someone at this club that put a contract offer on the table for John Lundstram. There's going to be somebody at this club that's going to be making and sanctioning the decisions to say, no, Connor Goldson is going to be starting next season, or we don't need to revamp our striking areas because Cyril Dessa's got so X amount of goals. There's someone making decisions that needs to be eradicated. And going into the summer again, now looking back at its stats to paint a perfect picture, don't they? Because with goals and all these kind of things, we will still need a new striker going into the summer. And everyone's kind of getting on behind Cyril Dessers, and credit to him about his goals and all those kind of things. But stats aren't what meets up with the eye. It doesn't meet up with the eye. He hasn't been good enough this season, and he needs to be held accountable. Rangers board genuinely do need to bring in 11 new players. In fact, bar Jack Butland, I think that's it. To be fair, we need 10 new players. We need players to come in and really give a fight for the jersey. And if there's some players that are going to be staying behind, as stated, you can't get rid of everybody, but they need every single one of those players needs competition for their jersey. Bar Jack Butland going into the summer. We need a new right back. We need two new centre backs. We need a new left back because Ridvan can't stay fit. We need a new midfield because Lundstrom's going to be going. We can't have this aging and constantly unfit midfield as well. And then the striking department, well, you can't rely on Danilo as he's been out for the whole of the season. And again, Cyril Dessers, as I said, supporters will know what that's like. So we need a revamp, and we need to go into this sort of thing, and we better hope we get Champions League football going into it. Otherwise, the financial disparity and the gap is going to be absolutely huge. It's genuinely going to be huge. I'm surprised Celtic haven't already pulled away from us. I can't believe last season actually happened, and I don't think that their board is that stupid to allow a season like that to happen again for them. That was way too close for comfort. After winning a treble, they did the same negligence that we did after the 2021 season. Our board did, where they went, right, let's bring in certain players, let's just be cheap with it and not spend any money. But to be credit to our board, we didn't actually have guaranteed Champions League football then. They had 2 years of guaranteed Champions League football and just were kind of negligence in the summer. And I don't think that they're going to make that same mistake again, because they were ranked rotten this year and they won't be ranked rotten next year. So it just goes to show how good we've got to be going forward. It's just miserable, isn't it? It's just bonkers, it's just miserable for the last 3 years, just constantly coming to May and looking at the summer and looking to the new season to get my hopes up again that this board will do right. But I'm not taking shit this year. Usually I'm happy clapping about the summer transfer window. But if I see in August, at the start of the season, we've got some of these players that are starting that game, bar Jack Butland, maybe Cantwell at a push, then there's going to be serious problems. There's going to be serious issues going into next season. Genuinely, because if you keep the rotten apples that keep on losing, keep on failing for this football club, it's going to spread, and the whole fruit bowl is going to be infected with this losing mentality. Best we just say thank you and go away, and that's it, and then we can move forward. And I hate to bring up Celtic again here, but what I will say for the Rangers supporters that will go, well, we can't get rid of everybody. Celtic, after they lost 10 in a row, after we won, we stopped them from doing 10 in a row, should I add. But when they lost that title that they were talking and singing about for 10 years, they chased their captain, who won 11 titles for them or something like that, who won 4 trebles on the bounce for them, out of the door. They didn't have sentiment for him. They just said, out. Because this is not how we operate. We're winners. We are no longer good enough to play for this team. They chased him out of the door. They chased Odsonne Edouard out of the door, who was another player that, again, was, I think, won so many titles, was dubbed to be the next big thing, but they cashed in on him. They got him out the door. They knew that his head was gone in terms of the season. He just wasn't playing. They chased sort of Ryan Christie out of the door. They chased a lot of players out of the door that was successful for them 9 years ago, for 9 years. Not even that, for 3 years before their 10 in a row thing. They chased it out, and everyone was anxious that summer in the Celtic camp. We were obviously getting carried away, thinking we're going to go on and do 2-3 in a row. But they had a rebuild. They had a brand new overturn of players, and some of the players got people were taking the piss out of, saying, look, we don't even know who they are, they're recruiting for the Japanese league. And look at the amount of assets they have in that team now. Look at that. Matt O'Reilly's probably going to go to Atletico Madrid for X amount. Carter Vickers, all these kind of players that came in that first season, Maida, all these kind of guys, they're going to be flipped on. They're going to make them a lot more money going forward. But You need to get over that anxiety, and we now need to go into the summer and chase our players out of the door. I'm not being toxic, because it's not going to be the manager this time. These players need chasing out of the door, and we need a rebuild. I want a brand new team. I thought summer was meant to be this rebuild, but it was actually just turned out to be shit because we had some guy in charge that had no clue what he was doing. But this summer, with a director of football, with Niels Koopman, let's try and get rid of these shitty losers out of the club and go again. Go forward with some new players and a new era at this football club. Genuinely, it has to happen, and you as a supporter have to play a big part in it. You have to play in a big part about it. Hold them accountable. They do listen. They do listen. The Rangers board do listen to social, not just social media, but the match-going fans. They will listen. If they try and field the same fucking back four as we've always had, fucking Goldson, Tavernier, and all these kind of in the midfield, that have constantly churned out. If you make it feel uncomfortable, you have your voice heard, they will make a change. They will do it. They will. They listen to the Rangers fans. They genuinely do. And some people might find that hard to believe, but they do. When it comes to a manager of a position, when it comes to those kind of things, they do listen. So have your voice heard. If they try and field you with shit, hold them accountable this summer. Make sure that they spend money and make sure they get these losers out the door, because I don't want another season of them lifting another title. Fucking 4 in a row will be next year. They'll also equal 55. Unforgivable, genuinely unforgivable. And waking up this morning, it's made it a little bit worse. But again, we need to hold everybody accountable at Rangers Football Club. But Rangers fans, that's all I've got for you today. Do let me know your thoughts and everything down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.